Greetings and welcome to Planet Vrilock, your psionics digerati podcast. We're talking about psi magic, mentalism, the occult, and so much more. Tonight's topic is psionics perspective on the trending of TikTok's hashtag witchtalk. And apparently it's made about 20.5 billion views since the year 2020. It's growing 4% in interest every week, so there seems to be a lot of interest in the debates on witchtalk. And most recently, there's been some heated arguments generating perhaps more heat than light on this particular hashtag, obscuring the fundamental principles that unite all forms of magic under the vast umbrella of the metaphysical. So let's explore these unnecessary divisions within the occult and consider how a psionic lens can offer a harmonious resolution. Well, one of the things that makes all of this difficult is people come to an online community thinking that their view is right, and therefore, by following this logic, other views must be wrong, or perhaps it would be more polite to say mistaken. But the one thing that a lot of us seem to not understand is that the occult itself is greatly misunderstood. It is mistakenly associated with negative connotations of being, well, cultish or perhaps sinister. And it's not hard to imagine why, when there are so many actors and vested interest in promoting the Hollywood vampire and the collective zombie hive mind, and confusing people about their gender and where their loyalties should lie. And these people that are running amok in the world at the top of this pyramid society have done a thorough job in distorting people's minds like a bowl of scrambled eggs. So, my advice is perhaps to spend a little more time at the library and far less time on Twitter and TikTok. But I digress. You know, as I've discussed in my previous podcast episodes, for instance, my podcast, Why the Occult? The truth of the occult is far from the misconception of something sinister and cultish. In truth, it's a collection of arcane teachings that delve into the mysteries of existence, often offering a disciplined and individualistic path to self-discovery and understanding existence, reality, the world. And it offers so much more detail and understanding than many of the world's religions, which in my view, I think a whole lot of them are made up. Throughout history, the occult has been a catalyst for challenging and transforming some of the more oppressive societal norms, including gender inequality. This is true. It served as a sanctuary for the empowerment and the pursuit of equal rights. Now, in particular, this is especially important for women who have found strength and perhaps solace in the teachings of the occult. And we're talking about the real occult here, not the trends on TikTok, but let us use that as an example. And before we do, let's get to the core of what the occult is. So, it's seeking knowledge that lies beyond the apparent. exploring realms of consciousness and reality that are not immediately accessible to our ordinary five senses, and expanding our faculties by well thought out methods. It's a journey of personal enlightenment where one learns to tap into the hidden forces and energies that influence our lives. So in a sense, you're learning how to have more control over yourself. So when you see people ranting and raving all over these SNS channels, whether it's TikTok or Twitter or YouTube or whatnot, they're emphasizing the opposite of what the occult actually is. And because you're seeing people lose control of themselves, right? Our goal is to learn about the elusive forces and energies that influence our lives and control them. Allow me to clarify some misunderstandings. The occult requires discipline and study. Right there, a whole lot of people just left the room. Knock, knock, who's there? Mickey Mouse in his underwear. I'm sorry, I had to say something funny. Because all this stuff is real serious when you really want to think about it. If you're going to make important decisions in your life, and decide whether or not you're going to put money down on some cryptocurrency, get a vaccination or not get a vaccination, vote for this party or vote for the other party, or whether you vote at all or what have you. These are serious things, right? Ordinarily. I know if you're a psionic supervillain, you're probably laughing about the whole damn affair, and it's okay to have fun with it once in a while. But when you need to make serious decisions that affect your life and perhaps those closest to you, then you need to take your first steps into the occult with some degree of seriousness and earnestness. It is an individualistic approach. This is not a fashion statement. It's not a trend. Every practitioner's path in the occult is unique. It's a deeply personal journey. It's not masturbating in a temple, wearing a pyramid hat, or running around with the leggings of the goat man, It's a personal journey that respects the individual's autonomy and encourages self-exploration. Now I know Uncle Chucky would have a good laugh at the latter part. Yes, let's encourage self-exploration. Don your helmets now. Like I said, you can have a sense of humor. But you have to understand the reason you enter into the occult is for engaging this mystery to lead to profound psychological growth, confronting your inner shadow, integrating with your psyche, and achieve a greater sense of personal wholeness. I'm not talking about wholeness with your whole community or mindlessly running around like a chicken with your head cut off. I'm talking about individual sense of wholeness. Your inner core, your center of self, your true self. I have a free book on the topic of centering in yourself, and also some tips on how to make money along the way, how to make money come to you. There are universal principles of the occult based on principles that transcend the religious dogma. It's important to know this. It's about connecting with the fundamental truths that underlie all existence. Now you're starting to see the picture here. Starting to get a clearer picture about all the rubbish and nonsense on SNS. I'm here to draw you back to sanity. Let us consider what we already know. In essence, the occult is not a cult. It is a respectable field of study that empowers individuals to expand their consciousness and unlock the mysteries of the mind and the cosmos. Once again, perhaps a number of people have left the room or switched to a different podcast. That's fine. It's okay. I'm speaking to you, the person that is still here listening, because a beautiful path is opening before you. It's a path that requires discipline, sure, but it offers the deep reward of introspection and profound understanding of wisdom that has been passed down through the ages. Keep the magic high. Yeah. So where did this wisdom come from? Well, it didn't start with Aleister Crowley, okay? Contradictory to much popular belief and rubbish. Bullocks, right? No, the arcane wisdom came to the West with the arrival of a woman whose name was Helena Blavatsky. She was a Russian occultist, and she co-founded the Theosophical Society, which played a crucial role in popularizing the Eastern mysticism in the West. And of course influencing one of my favorite authors, influencing the philosophy of William Walker Atkinson, who he was, by the way, one of the greatest supporters of the New Thought movement of the early 1900s. This is essential to understand. It's like, the alphabet. You got to know about this. This is the foundation upon which everything else that came later, such as the New Age and all that, it came to the West by the arrival of Helena Blavatsky. And it was propelled into scientific thinking by William Walker Atkinson. And they both, played profound roles which impacted the early 20th century of what would possibly be called a spiritual renaissance. A renaissance known as the New Thought movement. It can't be overstated enough that Blavatsky's theosophical teachings were instrumental in introducing Eastern philosophies. These included Hinduism and Buddhism to Western minds, thereby shaping various esoteric traditions that eventually coalesced into, like I said, the New Age. So if you're buying books from Llewellyn, New Age publisher, or Raven Books, this is where it came from. Okay, so what about these arguments going on TikTok? Well, you can just forget them and leave that room. You don't have to leave this room. I'll just be honest with you, I'll tell you. Well, for those who are interested in that controversy, the heated debates, there was at least one or two comments which struck me as both interesting and odd and way off the mark. Someone had posted about Solomonic Magick being the equivalent of domestic abuse. I mean, this is just that's sensationalism, that's dramatism, and perhaps that person needs to speak to a counselor. But what can we learn from the teachings of Atkinson and Blavatsky? If we want to be real, right? You want to be real? Okay. We can learn valuable lessons to apply to the current controversy surrounding witch talk. First of all, both figures, Atkinson and Blavatsky, champion the power of the mind and the importance of inner spiritual development over external forms and rituals. So here's what they might teach us. They might say that unity in diversity is paramount, reminding us that the occult encompasses a wide array of practices and beliefs, that diversity should be celebrated rather than become a source of division. So, the myriad expressions of magic, witchcraft, the occult on Witch Talk community might better serve its following by self-reflecting on this diversity of views. And so we could shed more light than heat on this debate, and many debates, right? We should focus on personal growth. I think Blavatsky would emphasize the importance of personal growth and self-discovery, as would Atkinson in the various occult practices and the arcane teachings. Perhaps the debates on Witch Talk often center around the authenticity of practices. And Atkinson or Blavatsky, either of them, of these prestigious people, would likely argue that the true measure of any practice is its ability to foster personal transformation. So, there you have it. Respect the diversity of the various views and seek the light that's going to unite the various forms of expression of the occult under this umbrella that we call metaphysics. Now, I might throw in a personal point of view here, that my area of specialty is psionics. And so where does it fit in with all this magic and metaphysics stuff? Well, it's distinct from other forms of magic in several key ways. It's primarily concerned with the manipulation of energy through the power of the mind. It involves abilities like telekinesis, other forms of energy manipulation that are rooted in mental discipline and psychic abilities such as clairvoyance and telepathy. We have technological integration, so we're always innovating, following up from the early years of radio science on through the digital age, and then now I don't know what you call it, I guess the Internet of Things. I've been working with AI nodes and algorithms and various ways to interconnect my mind with EEGs and just have a good time exploring all the possibilities of the mind. It's just amazing. I wouldn't have time to really sit here and debate each little argument about the which tradition is right and if somebody else's views are wrong, because I'm busy doing things, and that's what I want you to do too. So if you want to learn, the best place to go is Vrilock.com. This is a website for exceptional resource for those seeking to delve into the fascinating world of psionic magic. I also have a club at Vrilock.club if you want to become a club member and support my work and get deep discounts on, some items, up to 50% off on select items. Plus you have access to 5+ years of audio lectures and videos and reference pages for beginners. You can look back on our past projects in the archives, what we've done in groups or as individuals, world influence and weather defense against weather warfare and so on, and a whole lot of beautiful things we've done with psionics. So, I am inviting you to embark on a journey of discovery and mastery with Psi and Psionic Magick by subscribing to Vrilock.com or join the club at Vrilock.club. It's where witches and wizards keep the magic high. So, it's up to you. I invite you and welcome you to join and learn and explore and have fun. So, good night, lords and ladies. Until next time, keep the magic high. Your Doctor Command.